We continue our coverage of a story we brought you just a little earlier in this newscast. It's about fighting child poverty in the suburbs. The Nest Learning Community Center is working to address the issue head-on, and it's doing it by taking services directly to families using an old RV. Joining me now is Evangeline Devol, the founder of the Nest Community Center. I want to thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much for inviting us.
Oh, you bet. So we were talking a little bit before the interview, and you said really tackling childhood poverty is easy. It's simple. How is it simple?
I'm not so sure it's very easy, but it is simple because we know that food and clothing and shelter are terribly important for our at-risk kids. But they're really just Band-Aids for the minute, the month, the time. The only thing that's going to change the trajectory of these kids' lives is education. So right now, in the United States, it's estimated that about 60% of all our low-income kids or at-risk kids need some sort of intervention at school. Our schools are great. Our Loveland School is great. Our community is great, but they can't do it by themselves. So if we just give that support piece for our kiddos that are struggling and be that home piece for them, then they get their homework done. They have the resources. We have a library, we have a printer, we have everything that they need on the RV, so that we just let them blossom naturally, because these kids are awesome and they're resilient and they have the same IQ as kids that aren't at-risk kids or live in poverty, and they just need that fighting chance to be everything they're supposed to be.
So you take the classroom and pretty much extend the day just a little bit for them. And maybe hit on things that they might need a little help with. Boost their confidence so that they're better in the classroom. What's your overall objective? If you had one wish for the growth of this program, what would it be?
I think the one wish for this growth of this program is we know it works. And we know that since the war on poverty started in 1964, we actually have more kids that live in poverty now than we did back then. Depending on the study, it's 21, 22%. We're back in 1964, we had 19%. So what we're doing isn't working very well. And then since 2012, there are more kiddos in the suburbs that are at or below the poverty level than there are in urban areas any longer.
And they need attention.
And they need attention. They have to have attention.
So you want more RVs?
We want more, and we want to be able to share what we've been so successful with other communities.
And how are you going about doing that?
Just getting the word out more than anything else.
So like this?
Right, exactly. If we feel that if each community, their businesses, their schools, their police department, their just other people that live in the community will wrap their arms around the kids in their own backyard, and they all have kids in their own backyard that are at risk, then these kids will soar and they will do well. Because the one-size-fits-all big programs have failed these kids.
Evangeline, thank you for sharing your perspective. It really does take a village.
Thank you.
You can read more about this story right now on WCPO.com.